Hey everyone, welcome back to nullmicgo channel. Today is January 22nd, 2026, and the AI news fire hose is on full blast. We've got CEOs predicting AI will replace most software engineers within a year, Nvidia calling this the largest infrastructure build-out in human history, new AI tools for healthcare, cars, robots, video, and even hiding AI writing online. Oh, and a real-world national security data leak caused by misusing an open-source AI tool. Let's get into your AI news roundup for January 22nd, 2026. Story 1. Anthropic CEO AI could replace most coding within a year. First up, a big headline from Davos. This news comes from Unwire.hk in Hong Kong and was released on January 21st, 2026. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei spoke at the World Economic Forum in Davos and basically said within 6 to 12 months AI models could be capable of writing almost all software code. According to the Unwire.hk report, Amodei expects AI systems to handle the vast majority of programming tasks that human software engineers do today. We are talking about not just boilerplate code but large chunks of real-world software development. The key nuance here is almost all code doesn't automatically mean replace all programmers. In practice, this likely means AI drafting most of the code, humans reviewing, architecting, debugging, and integrating, teams shifting from type everything by hand to orchestrate and supervise powerful coding agents. But the tone from Anthropic is clear. The timeline for serious disruption to software engineering is short, months, not decades. Now keep that in mind as we move through the rest of today's stories, because it ties directly into how fast this whole ecosystem is scaling. Story 2. Nvidia AI is the largest infrastructure build-out in human history. Speaking of scale, let's jump to Nvidia. This news comes from the Nvidia blog and was published on January 21st, 2026. Nvidia founder and CEO Jensen Huang spoke at Davos in a discussion with BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. He described AI as the foundation of what he calls the largest infrastructure build-out in human history. According to Nvidia's blog, he broke this down as a kind of 5-layer cake: energy infrastructure to power all these data centers, computing infrastructure, GPUs, data centers, networking, AI models and platforms, applications on top of those models. And finally, the industries being transformed: finance, healthcare, manufacturing, media, you name it. So on one side, we have Anthropic predicting AI can do almost all coding soon. On the other, Nvidia saying we're mid-flight in a once-in-history scale-up of energy and compute to run these models. This is the backdrop for everything else we're seeing. AI isn't just software anymore. It's physical infrastructure, power grids, chips, and global capital flows. Story 3. JP Morgan CEO. Maybe we need to slow this down. But not everyone thinks we should just slam the accelerator. This next story is surfaced via Hacker News and links to The Guardian, published on January 21st, 2026. According to the Guardian report, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon is warning that the rollout of AI may need to be slowed down to save society. He's not saying stop AI forever, but he's raising concerns about job displacement at scale, social instability, the impact on democracy and the information ecosystems, the speed of deployment outpacing regulation and adaptation. What's interesting is that in the same Davos orbit, you have Jensen Huang framing AI as an unprecedented infrastructure opportunity, while Jamie Dimon is publicly floating the idea that we might need to hit the brakes to avoid serious social fallout. So we've got this tension: tech leaders hyping capability and infrastructure, finance and policy leaders signaling risk and potential need for deliberate slowdown. Keep that in mind as we look at specific applications rolling out today. Story 4. Amazon Health AI Assistant in One Medical. Let's move to healthcare. This news comes from Engadget and was published on January 21st, 2026. Amazon is adding an AI-powered assistant to One Medical. the primary care provider it acquired in 2023. The tool is called Health AI. According to Engadget, here's what Health AI is supposed to do. Provide 24/7 personalized health guidance based on your medical records. Explain lab results in plain language. Help manage medications. Book an appointment. Analyze images. Though Amazon hasn't clearly said if that means medical imaging, like X-rays or user-uploaded photos, or both. Amazon is very careful in its messaging, saying Health AI complements, but does not replace your healthcare provider. Can answer general and complex health questions while considering your unique history. It's supposed to recognize when human clinical judgment is required. On the privacy front, Engadget notes that Amazon says it follows HIPAA-compliant privacy and security practices. Conversations with Health AI are not automatically added to your medical record but can be. It does not sell members protected health information. This positions Amazon alongside Google and OpenAI in the AI plus healthcare race. Google added an AI health coach in the Fitbit app last year. OpenAI launched a dedicated health portal within ChatGPT in January. Now Amazon is turning One Medical into a testbed for AI-first primary care. So while some leaders are saying we may need to slow down AI for societal reasons, in sectors like healthcare, the rollout is accelerating right now. Story 5. Volvo EX60 EV with Google Gemini built-in. Next up, AI in your car. This news comes from Engadget and was published on January 21st, 2026. Engadget got an early look at Volvo's new EX60 SUV. On the surface, it's a high-spec electric SUV, 400-mile range on the top model, up to 670 horsepower, fast charging from 10 to 80% in under 20 minutes. New Gigacast chassis platform called SPA3, NACS charging standard like Tesla, but the AI angle is big here. The infotainment system is Android Automotive based. It runs on a Qualcomm 8255 chipset, and crucially, it has Google's Gemini AI integrated directly into the car. According to Engadget, this makes the EX60 one of the first car on the road with a built-in Gemini smart agent. You'll be able to ask typical assistant questions, navigation, weather information. Eventually ask about what the car's external cameras are seeing, what's that building, or what's going on up ahead. For safety and autonomy, Volvo uses an Nvidia Drive AGX Orin chipset to handle active safety features. They've decided not to use LiDAR on the EX60, relying on cameras and radar instead. So this car is basically a rolling embodiment of that 5-layer cake. Jensen Huang talked about high-end chips from Nvidia and Qualcomm plus a frontier model from Google, all wrapped inside a consumer product. Story 6. Has Gemini surpassed ChatGPT? Let's stick with Gemini for a second. This news comes from Technica and was released on January 21st, 2026. Technica ran tests comparing Google's Gemini with OpenAI's ChatGPT to see if Gemini has actually pulled ahead, especially now that Apple has partnered with Google to power new Siri AI features. The article asks, did Apple make the right call betting on Gemini instead of directly on OpenAI? Technica typically tests things like reasoning and coding, factual accuracy, multimodal understanding, text, images, maybe video, latency, and reliability. While the details are in their full feature, the big picture is Gemini is competitive enough that Apple felt comfortable integrating it into Siri. ChatGPT still has strength, especially in certain creative and conversational tasks. The which is better question is increasingly context dependent. It depends on your use case. So at the same time that Anthropic is predicting huge leaps in capability within 12 months, we're seeing a very real, very intense model competition between OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and others. And that competition is now embedded in phones, cars, and consumer devices. Story 7. Salesforce FOFPred language-driven motion prediction. From chatbots to robots. This news comes from MarkTechPost and was published on January 21st, 2026. Salesforce AI Research introduced something called FOFPred that stands for Future Optical Flow Prediction. According to MarkTechPost, FOFPred is a framework that connects large vision language models with diffusion transformer models, takes in one or more images plus a natural language instruction, and predicts dense future motion, basically how every pixel will move over time. Example, you show it an image of a table with a bottle and say, move the bottle from right to left. FOFPred predicts how the scene will change frame by frame. Why does this matter? For robot control, robots can better plan their actions by predicting how the world will move in response. For video generation, you can create more realistic motion in generative video when the model understands both the scene and the language instruction at a fine-grained level. This is a glimpse of what comes after just chat with text. We're moving into models that understand and control motion in the physical and visual world, driven by language. Story 8: OpenAI plus Higgs field cinematic social video from simple prompts. Sticking with video, let's talk about creators. This news comes from the OpenAI blog and was published on January 21st, 2026. OpenAI highlighted a company called Higgsfield, which is using OpenAI models GPT-4 to 1, GPT-5, and Sora 2 to turn simple ideas into cinematic social-first videos. According to the OpenAI blog, creators can start with simple inputs, a short text idea, a rough storyboard, maybe a reference clip. Higgsfield uses GPT-4 1 and GPT-5 for planning, scripting, and shot design. Then Sora 2 handles the actual video generation and refinement tuned for social media formats like vertical video, fast cuts, and attention-grabbing visuals. The bigger pattern here. Nvidia says we're building massive infrastructure. Salesforce is building motion understanding. OpenAI and partners like Higgsfield are turning all that into creator tools that can make near-professional video from text-level ideas. And remember what Anthropic said about coding? The same trend is hitting creative work. More of the heavy lifting is moving from human hands to AI systems, with humans steering at a higher level. Story 9. Wikipedia's AI tells become a plugin to hide AI. Now, to a story that's almost ironic. This news comes from Technica and was published on January 21st, 2026. Ars reports that Wikipedia volunteers have spent years cataloging AI tells subtle patterns that give away AI-generated text. Things like overly generic phrasing, repetitive sentence structures, certain stylistic quirks. These rules were meant to help editors detect and manage AI content on Wikipedia. Now, according to Technica, someone has turned that knowledge into a plugin that helps writers make their AI-generated text look more human by systematically avoiding those tells. So the best open guide to spotting AI writing has effectively become a manual for hiding it. This raises some big questions. How do we maintain trust online when detection tools can be used to evade detection? What happens to platforms like Wikipedia, which rely on human-authored, verifiable content? And more broadly, are we heading into an era where almost everything could plausibly be AI-assisted, and it's nearly impossible to tell? It connects back to the JP Morgan CEO's concern. The social impact of AI isn't just about jobs, it's also about information integrity and trust. Story 10. China Data Leak. Misusing open source AI in a security agency. Our last story is a sobering one about real-world consequences. This news comes from Unwire.hk and was released on January 21st, 2026. China's Ministry of State Security publicly disclosed a data leak case, according to Unwire.hk. Here's what happened. An employee at a national security unit violated internal rules and they used an open source AI tool to process internal documents. Because of how that tool was set up, sensitive data ended up being illegally accessed by an overseas IP address. In other words, someone used a convenient AI tool on sensitive government documents, and that opened the door to foreign data exfiltration. This story is a perfect illustration of the convenience versus security trade-off with AI tools. How even just open source AI can be dangerous if deployed without strict controls. Why governments and enterprises are scrambling to set AI usage policies, and why those policies actually need to be followed. Combine this with the Wikipedia plugin story, and you get a picture of AI not just as a productivity booster, but as a new attack surface for data leaks, for information manipulation, and for trust erosion. Wrap up where this all points. So let's zoom out. Today's stories from Unwire.hk, the Nvidia blog, Engadget, Ars Technica, MarkTechPost, the OpenAI blog, and The Guardian via Hacker News all paint a consistent picture. Capability is accelerating. Anthropic CEO thinks AI will write almost all code within a year. Salesforce is making robots understand motion from language. OpenAI and Higgsfield are turning text into cinematic video. Google's Gemini is competitive enough that Apple is betting Siri on it. Infrastructure is exploding. Nvidia's Jensen Huang calls this the largest infrastructure build-out in human history, spanning energy, chips, data centers, and models. AI is embedding everywhere. In healthcare via Amazon's Health AI. In cars via Volvo's EX60 with built-in Gemini and Nvidia chips. In creative pipelines and in enterprise tools. And risks are very real. JP Morgan CEO is talking about slowing down AI rollout to protect society. Wikipedia's anti-AI rules are being flipped to help hide AI text. China's national security data leak shows how a single misuse of an open source AI tool can compromise sensitive information. The common thread: AI is no longer lab curiosity. It's a global system touching code, health, transportation, media, and national security all at once. If you want to dive deeper into any of these stories, check out the original sources. Unwire.hk for the Anthropic and China data leak reports. The Nvidia blog for Jensen Huang's Star Wars 5-layer cake breakdown. Engadget for Amazon's Health AI and Volvo's EX60 preview. Ars Technica for the Gemini versus ChatGPT tests and the Wikipedia AI Tales plugin. MarkTechPost for Salesforce FOFPred research. The OpenAI blog for the Higgsfield cinematic video case study. And The Guardian via the Hacker News link for Jamie Dimon's AI slowdown comments. That's it for today's AI News Roundup for January 22nd, 2026. If you want more daily breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed to nullmicgo channel and let me know in the comments. Which of these stories do you think will have the biggest impact over the next 12 months? AI coding, AI in healthcare, AI in cars, or the security and trust issues? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.